RG3, interesting young man. Let me phrase it this way. Skip, I'll start with you. Do you like the way he's handling this situation?
Stephen A. Smith, you know I love me some RG3, but I do not love the way he is handling this, because he can't have it both ways. During the offseason, you will remember that both Robert and his father dropped hints that Mike Shanahan deserves some blame, just some blame, for leaving him in the game as long as he did until he was finally hurt with 6:25 left in the game and had to be taken out of the game. And now we have Robert taking issue with a Mike Shanahan for being overly protective of him coming off major knee surgery. Can't have it both ways. And I want to be very, very clear about this. I had zero issue with Mike Shanahan leaving him in that football game after he tweaked the knee, as you recall, just before the 14-0 touchdown in the first quarter of that game. No issue at all. I had no issue if Mike Shanahan had said the first game, last Thursday night, first preseason game, he's going to play one series. I wanted him to play one series. I wanted him to play at least a series in each of all 4 of the preseason games to get him ready for the speed of the game, game 1. And I think he is 100% healthy, as he and his doctor say. But you and many, many others heavily criticized Mike Shanahan for leaving Robert in the game after halftime. Am I correct about that?
Yep.
That's fair. And I think that now Mike Shanahan is acting, or maybe overreacting to sort of a defensive nature that he has taken now to say, well, wait a second. You people condemned me for leaving Robert in the game. So, hey, watch this. I'm going to keep him out of all the preseason games, which, again, I disagree with, but I get it because he took a severe public beating over this. Again, you led the charge on that one. So now Robert says there's no friction, but I'm still sensing major friction between the young quarterback and the coach. And I don't love it for either one of them going forward.
I have no problem with Mike Shanahan's position on this. I think that RG3 is wrong. And I'm going to state emphatically what I said at the time that he was left in that playoff game. The second he went to scramble and you saw him limping the way that he was limping, it was clear at that moment in time when he was untouched the second time around. I believe it was somewhere late in the first quarter or early in the second quarter. He was done as far as I'm concerned in terms of that knee. He should have been yanked out of the game, particularly when you got a viable backup in Kirk Cousins, who has proven he can play this game. You endangered Robert Griffin. I think that Mike Shanahan deserved the hits that he took. I don't think he deserved to lose his job for it or anything like that. My only problem with him in terms of his job was when I thought that he basically conceded the season after losing, going 3-6 or 3-7. So for me, that was my beef with Mike Shanahan in terms of how he's handled this situation. RG3 is the franchise. RG3 is the face of this franchise. He is too viable, too important to be in meaningless preseason games. And on top of it all, he's coming off an ugly, nasty ACL injury. I don't have time for his feelings, his emotions, or whatever the case may be. And more importantly, you see that man RG3, you hear him talking, you see the way he articulates himself and the way he carries himself. This is a highly intelligent young man. What do you mean you don't understand? It insults all of our intelligence for you to act like you don't understand. You know exactly what the hell Mike Shanahan is doing. You just don't like it. So you want to feign ignorance and act like you don't know or act like you can't comprehend. Yes, you can. You most certainly can. He is not interested in putting you in danger and thus putting the Redskins' season in danger because of a preseason game. The games that count start in September. You understand? Those are the games that matter. That's when we need to see RG3. We don't need to see him a couple of possessions in preseason in August. That is meaningless. It is irrelevant. And oh, by the way, RG3, you're sitting up in there with this press conference going off about how you can't BS your way around this answer, blah, blah, blah. I'm sorry. Why are we acting like this is June or May and I got to wait until September? We're talking about 3 weeks.
Right.
The season starts in 3 weeks. What do you mean you can't wait for 3 weeks? And by the way, that's when the games count.
Wait, hold on just a second.
What?
Do you want him to start the opening game?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that.
Really?
But what I'm saying to you is he doesn't need, I've maintained all along, RG3 does not need to play a single down in preseason. He does not need to play until the games count. Only then does it matter. Up until that moment, this is really just about his preference, and I'm not buying it.
I would go down the Brett Favre should have been there for preseason road, but I won't go down that way.
Listen, because you'll get eaten alive.
I won't. I will eat you alive.
That's a ridiculous, asinine argument.
A hypocritical stance on this.
Okay. You want to go there?
No, I don't.
All right, because we can go. We can get it on.
I'm not finished with this.
All right, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. Do you have any idea how dangerous it is to throw a kid coming off major knee reconstruction into game one, high speed, full speed, with 0 snaps in any preseason game? That is asinine, because that is insane.
No, the objective is to make sure that he is as close to 100% health-wise, even if it means he may lose something in terms of rust. If it's not, if he's rusty, if he's not throwing with any kind of precision, if his rhythm is not there, I understand that you're risking that. But in the meantime, you're not exposing that knee to any kind of problems because you're not subjecting him to that kind of scrutiny, intense physical scrutiny. And I'm saying you ward off that for as long as you could possibly get away with doing it while the games don't matter. Well,
absolutely not.
That's you.
What did Peyton Manning say last year coming off his 4th neck surgery? Right. I need to get hit a little bit to see how I respond.
Wait a minute. That was a dude that was out the entire season. Robert Griffin III didn't miss a game. He got hurt in their very last game, which was the playoff game against Seattle. Peyton Manning hadn't been touched in almost 2 years. That's why he said it.
Peyton Manning was 36 years of age.
But that's why he said it.
Done this and done it and done it.
But that's why he said it, because he had been virtually untouched for almost 2 years. Robert Griffin III, the Redskins haven't been touched either since the last time he got hurt, because that was their last game too. So that it's not the same. It's apples and oranges.
You have to let the kid rebuild his confidence in his psyche. Yes, you do.
Does that dude look like he got a confidence issue?
No. RG3, you go get your ACL and your MCL. You have no idea what you're talking about, Kerry.
He doesn't
ACL and MCL fixed?
Sorry,
I'm sorry. You're both dead wrong about this.
Well, listen,
you need confidence. You need to go into a high-speed, full-speed game like the 3rd exhibition game.
You know what? Here's the hypocrisy in your argument.
No, mine is
allow me to
hypocrisy is yours, pal.
Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. 9 and 9 and 10 and all of that.
Take it all the way up. Take it all the way up.
Listen, this is not. Who are we talking? We're not talking about Christian Ponder here. We're talking about RG3. We're talking about that bad man out of Bella. We're talking about that
I'm the one who loves him. You don't.
That's why
you said Andrew Luck was going to be better.
I'm going. Actually, that's not what I said. But listen up. No, it is. No. Once again, you're misrepresenting my position. The double talking.
I nailed you.
Tell him why.
I nailed you.
Not at all, Skip. But check this out, Skip.
Yeah, I was the one who said
the argument. If you allow me to speak, the argument that I was making was yours. Is what I was getting to. These are the things that you say about RG3. Now, because he's got injured, you have to let him get his confidence back.
Yeah.
You have to let him.
Not
Stop it.
Peyton Manning.
Listen, Peyton Manning was out for almost 2 years. I'm saying to you, RG3 does not need to be in a situation where he's exposing that knee prematurely. All I'm trying to say, what's the harm in waiting a few more weeks?
Well, what's
the harm?
13 NFL games in his life?
What's the harm in it? And look at how he came out of the box.
Yeah.
Look at how he
As
balled.
I predicted he would.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So why are you flinching now?
I'm not flinching. This is ABCs of the National Football League. You need to let the young quarterback feel the speed of the game. Get some hits.
I'm not, but you're acting like he's sitting on the sidelines healthy, and I'm saying to you, well, you know what? Oh, don't play him. I'm saying, wait a minute, because of the kind of injury he's coming back from, there is absolutely, positively nothing wrong with Mike Shanahan saying, we're going to leave you out as long as possible. And oh, by the way, if it's just preseason games, why are we tripping? I understand if this is week 1 or week 2 of the NFL season, there's only 16 games. games. You're saying these games count. But in preseason, if I could give this dude rest so he's ready to go come week 1, what's wrong with that?
He's 100% healthy, says the best surgeon in the land in sports. Dr. Andrews says 100% healthy. He says, I am 100% healthy.
Yes,
you have to let him play some
100% healthy, but Skip, Mike Shanahan now, the two-time champion as a coach, all right, this dude is watching this guy practice, and he's watching him move. Yeah, you may not feel any pain. Yeah, there may not be any swelling.
No.
Yeah, there may not be any residual effects. But if I'm watching you practice, and I'm thinking, you know what, you might not, I need to hold you off for a few more weeks. Let you get some reps in practice.
Yeah.
Let you go against these boys that are your teammates. Yeah. Let's dissect it that way. There's nothing wrong with that.
He's not done anything in camp.
I'm saying to you, as you watch him, Mike Shanahan is watching him and is judging accordingly. And I have no problem with the coach who's being paid $35 million
what is
standing
this?
up and saying,
you
wait a
act
minute.
like RG3's in nursery school. You got to protect the little infant quarterback. Really?
No. I'm looking
is that what you're doing?
I'm looking at the ineptitude of the Washington Redskins as a franchise for over a decade, how they stunk up the joint, and how you've got your franchise quarterback, and you've got to go out of your way to protect your investment.
Nope.
That's what I'm thinking about.
Football. It's
what
football.
I'm thinking about.
It's why I said he should have played the whole game as long as he could go and try to win the game.
He should not have played the whole game.
Every great quarterback has to play through an injury at some point.
The coach, at the end of the day, has to say, we'll see him Monday Night Football. That's game 1 when they play the Eagles. We're moving on.